Several of my viewers have asked for more recipe videos, so I'm making some vegan yogurt. This one is out of soy milk. Now, the thing is, there's some tricks to making it, certain ingredients you'll need. I like to use these 1 quart containers that are just glass canning jars. You can buy them individually at craft stores. I'll have some linked in the description box below. And you can also put them in the 2-pint sizes, but you'll need 2 because we're going to make 4 cups of soy milk yogurt. Hi, I'm GloryB and this is GloryB-TV, a lifestyle channel for mature women who want to look fabulous, feel amazing, and age gracefully. I changed my diet when I was 38 years old and I never looked back, and I was inspired by an actress, by Mary Lou Henner. And I never stopped to think about, why am I taking advice from an actress? But she had already proven that changing her diet in the long term was going to lead to excellent health. And by the time I found her, it was like 1998, and I didn't have any kind of health problem, but I wanted to get in front of it and be proactive because I had already lost my dad much earlier. When he was 57, he died. When he was 53, he had his first stroke. My mother died of dementia, but she also had other health, the comorbidities that a lot of people have and start having in their 50s or 60s, like high blood pressure and high cholesterol, things like that, where I have none of those. I have no comorbidities, and I'm 64 years old. Now, one of the things I did was I put together a course because I found out that people who tried to do what I did based on seeing the results I was having, a few of them succeeded, but a lot of them didn't, because they get discouraged. They just couldn't put it together with a busy lifestyle. I totally understand that. So I put together a course called Kickstart Your Health, which is one of 3 courses, but it's the introductory course that helps people make their changes to their diet one step at a time. And it's so encouraging because as you see the weight go off and you start feeling better and you're able to go to the doctor and drop some meds that you've been taking because now you're getting healthier, it's just a wake-up call. Now, there have been other people who have gone to what's called a vegan lifestyle, or now we call it whole plant food diet, which is basically all homemade. It's very little processed food, and it's no meat and no dairy, but lots and lots of vegetables and fruits and nuts and seeds and beans. So my health is amazing. So now we're gonna make some soy milk based yogurt, and I'm going to go through the tips and tricks to make sure that when you make it, you don't make the mistakes I did. Because when I was learning to make it, I was following other people's recipes that weren't quite clear. So I'm going to be as clear as possible and show you how I make it more foolproof to make sure that it works. So let's get right into the recipe. The first thing you need is 1 quart, which is 32 ounces or 4 cups of unsweetened almond milk. And you need to read the ingredient list on the packaging because the ingredients need to be only soybeans and water. Most soy milk at the store has other ingredients in it that will not work well to make yogurt from it. These 2 brands, Westlife and Eden Soy, in the unsweetened variety, have only soybeans and water in their ingredient list. I found these at a large grocery store that stocks about 8 different brands of soy milk. These were in the regular, non-refrigerated aisle. The first thing we'll do is cook the soy milk. I'm using a 2 quart saucepan. Make sure your pan is at least a 2 quart pan because you're going to simmer the milk for a while. Set the heat to medium or medium high. Stir the milk often because you don't want it to scald at the bottom of the pan. If you see the skin appear at the surface, you can either remove it and discard it, or you can stir it in and let it cook with the milk. Bring the milk to a low boil or steady simmer. This is essential to the milk being able to turn into yogurt later. When the milk reaches the low boiling point, set a timer for 10 minutes and let it do the low boiling thing for the full 10 minutes. Remember to stir the milk frequently while it's simmering so that it doesn't scald on the bottom of the pan. After the 10 minutes of boiling is done, I like to pour the milk into another pitcher to cool. You'll need a candy thermometer to gauge the temperature of the milk. While the milk is cooling, I turn on the oven to the lowest temperature it will go, which is 170 degrees Fahrenheit or 76 degrees Celsius for my oven. When the oven reaches 170 degrees, I turn it off. The milk needs to reach between 110 and 115 degrees Fahrenheit, which is between 43 and 46 degrees Celsius. Any hotter or cooler and the probiotic reacting correctly won't work. I found it takes a long time, like 30 to 45 minutes for the milk to cool to this temperature. Now it's ready for the probiotic powder. I found the best to use is the 25 billion CFU probiotic, like this one from Now Foods. By the way, all the items I'm showing are listed and linked in the description box below the video and in the first pinned comment. You'll need 4 capsules of the 25 billion CFU probiotic. While the milk was cooling, I opened the 4 capsules and put the powder in the little glass bowl. Then put the powder into the milk and stir it or whisk it until the powder is completely incorporated. Now it's ready to pour into the jar. I have a 32-ounce mason jar here. Optionally, you can use 2 16-ounce mason jars. There are instructions in the description box for how to sterilize the jar. I do like this wide mouth 32-ounce jar though. Pour the milk into the jar and attach the lid. Now the milk is ready to go into the oven. Remember, I made the oven warm earlier and turned it off. I put the jar in a baking sheet, turned the light on, and put it all the way back by the light. I like to do this entire process at night. I leave the soy milk in the oven with the light on overnight for a good 8 to 12 hours. And then the next morning, it's ready to come out of the oven. Before I refrigerate it, I'll show you a spoonful so you can see how nicely this came out. All right, I'm ready for a taste test. So I like mine with honey. So I'm just going to spoon some of this out. It's creamy, but if you want a super creamy appearance, you would need to mix it up a little bit. Okay, so I like to put honey on mine. This is raw honey that I got from the farmer's market. And here we go with the taste test. It tastes just like plain yogurt. It's been a while since I've had dairy yogurt, a long time. So I don't know if this is more similar to Greek yogurt than non-Greek yogurt, but it's definitely plain. So here's the thing. The first time I made this, I was so disappointed because it came out too liquidy. There was some solid inside, but yeah, lots of liquid. Not solid like I expected. So after refrigerating it, I used it for 3 different things. So if this happens to you, and the reason it happened to my first batch is because I didn't cook it for long enough. I just brought it to a boil, and once it boiled, I turned it off. So you really need to have it at that low boil for about 10 minutes. Since then, I've never had a problem with it. But I didn't want to throw it out. It was perfectly good. It still tasted like yogurt. It was just too liquidy. So one of the things I did was I used some of it to make a salad dressing. I just put some in the blender and then threw a bunch of other things in there, even like onion powder and garlic powder, things like that, made a really good dressing. The second thing I did was I used it in a smoothie. So instead of using water in the smoothie or using nut milk in the smoothie, I used that more liquidy yogurt. I put in some bananas and some strawberries. It was really delicious. And then the third thing I did was I made overnight oats with it instead of using the nut milk. And I didn't even do it overnight. I just put some of that liquidy yogurt in a bowl, put in some raw oatmeal, and some of the other things I use with making overnight oats, which you can make them morning oats and just have it sit for 20 minutes. I'll also link to a video with that overnight oats recipe in the description box below the video. Now, if you want to find out about another kind I'm going to make, it is made with almonds, except in this case, I have to make my own almond milk. And then I've got almond pulp left over when I make this, because you have to squeeze out the solids from the liquid to make the almond milk, to even make the almond milk yogurt. And then I have a recipe for the pulp. So check out one of those videos. I'll have them posted on the right side of the screen, and also in the description box below. You can just tap one of the images over there on the right, and I'll see you in the next video.